Well, after she gave me the lecture, and she said, the reason why I was profiled was because I was wearing loose clothing, and I went, and I took off all the loose clothing so that you could just see a T-shirt that was sort of tight-fitting, and I lifted up my pants legs, and I showed her my bare legs, which also upset her. She did not want me to do that, because then that means that she couldn't touch my body, you see. So then I said, is everything okay? Am I free to go now? Are you satisfied that you haven't, that I'm not a bomber, I'm not a terrorist, and are you satisfied that you haven't been able to find anything? And she said yes, but she basically said, I would suggest you don't fly anymore because flying is a privilege, and I can call the police and have them taking you off.
Yeah, they say owning a gun's a privilege, traveling's a privilege, everything's a privilege now, and we pay all our taxes to the government, and they turn all these minimum wage goons loose on us, but then that's only the beginning of the story. They were going to make you submit. They were going to show everybody what happens to somebody that talks back to the warden in the prison, because we're a prison planet, and we're about to go to break. We're going to come back with Christine Ebersole, ChristineEbersole.com, and talk about what she describes as her SWAT teaming at the gate after she'd gone through the slave boot camp training grid, where they're always adding more suppression incrementally. Look, this is meant to prepare you for forced inoculation, forced DNA removal, DNA databases. That's all admitted. It's all over the news. They take baby's blood at birth for almost 38 years. This is just a lawless group of scum. And of course, the average TSA worker is not a bad person. They're just ignorant like the general public. Tony Award-winning Best Leading Actress Christine Ebersole, great lady, is our guest. Charming, intelligent, filled with courage. She's one of the people that helped, educate Rosie O'Donnell about 9/11 being an inside job. She's good friends with her. We appreciate Rosie O'Donnell's courage on that front. That's what I appreciate, is people that stand up and tell the truth. I don't even have to agree with them on some of their politics. As long as you love the truth, that's what matters. Now, Christine, so they go ahead and let you go. Through your privilege. They give you your privilege as government god, as the feds that have seized the airports, now seizing the roads, announcing they have TSA and checkpoints all over the country now, expanding this, training our children how to be slaves. And so you go on towards the gate. What happens next?
Well, we were early, so I was sitting at the gate with my musical director, John Otto, for about 45 minutes. We were just talking. I was kind of saying, do you believe what just happened? Thinking that was the end of the story. And then they announced that they're going to begin boarding, and I was on one of those short flights. So you know how it is, Alex, where you don't have assigned seating, but they'll say, you're in A, 15 to 18, so you kind of get in a line, and there's 3 different lines. So everybody was in line. They announced that we're boarding. We all get in line, so everyone's facing the front, like the front of a classroom. All of a sudden, there's about 6 security members. They were different, and they were different than the ones that had me at the security checkpoint. They were a different group. And they said, ma'am, we need you to come over here right now. I've got to pat you down. So to take me out of the group. Now, mind you, everyone's waiting to get on the plane. So I go to the front of the class. I'm taken to the front of the class because, they caught me, throwing spitballs. So I'm at the front there, and I said, I don't understand what's going on. We went through this at security. Ma'am, it's random. Ma'am, I need to pat you down right now.
So another lie again. This is supposedly random. So it's just congenital lying, a culture of deceit.
Yeah, twice random? I don't think so. And that's what John said. He goes, what do you mean? We went through that. It was random back at security. It's not random now. You're selecting her out. They wouldn't answer him. So I go to the front, and I said, I thought we already went through this. I told you I don't want you to touch me. And I start to take my coat off, and I start to take my shirt off, my outer shirt off, and they're freaking out. Don't take your coat off. Don't take your coat off. Get the police. Get the police. They didn't want me to take my coat off because then that would, mess them up from, they wouldn't see.
No, they've got to have the act of submission.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this is their great power. And how many have been caught being pedophiles? How many have been caught demanding women give them sex? I mean, this is their domination.
Yeah. So I continued to take my coat off. I wasn't listening to them, and they were continuing to yell for the police. And then I said, I see. This is because I said I didn't want you to touch me back at security. So you're showing me who's boss now. You're making an example of me. Ma'am, it's random. I said, are you having a problem with me? No, ma'am, you've been a model passenger. You've been a model passenger. Now put your arms out. We got to pat you down. and everybody's watching it. Everybody's watching it. So, I mean, I never raised my voice, never did any of that. I put my arms out. I said, I already told you I didn't want you to touch me. And they went ahead and they patted me up and down, you know, with a T-shirt on that's, you know, clinging to my body, so, and pants, the bottom, which I already showed them back at security. I lifted up my pants leg. I showed them my bare legs underneath, but, you know, they want to show who's boss. And then when I said, am I the only one that's being picked out randomly? No, ma'am, we're waiting for you to get on the plane. Now get on the plane. You want to get on the plane now? You want to get on the plane? You want to fly today? Want to fly today? So that was the deal there. But of course, I wasn't. You see, they wait until everyone's boarding, and I've got a concert. I gotta make money. I have a family to support, and so I'm not going to jeopardize that.
No, it's all been psychologically figured out to make you submit. Now, you described this to me as SWAT team-like.
Yeah, well, it was because they had like some guy. I mean, I didn't see any guns, but I'm just saying, like metaphorically, a SWAT team because like there's like 6 or 7 people descending on me. All these security guards, and they probably all had a conference with each other because they were pissed off because I said I don't want you to touch me. So they said, hey, you know, let's go after her and make her an example and show her who's boss.
Well, I've seen countless YouTube videos off local news of TSA going crazy. Have you seen the one where the military vet in his uniform, they want to search him, they want to humiliate him, so when he just talks back, they beat him up and then charge him with assaulting him? Or the new thing is making people who can't walk get up, and if the person won't get out of a wheelchair, they just tell you that you're not going to fly. So now they make people get out of their wheelchairs who can't walk. And so families try to hold them up, and then they get screamed at. I mean, I don't want to fly through George W. Bush or George H.W. Bush Airport in Houston because I've flown through it 3 times and once internationally, and they're just screaming at everyone, yelling. It's like Planet of the Apes. We're like running, and the TSA screaming and yelling, and people are freaked out. And they're screaming at old women on crutches and just foaming at the mouth and insane power trips. Let's talk about what you'd like to be done about this when we come back. Stay with us.